This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Men's hoop scores from the Big 12 last night, Jamie. Number 8, Houston dispatched of Louisiana, 91-45.
Okay.
Colorado defeated Cal State Fullerton, 83-53. And then BYU took down Queens. Queens with back-to-back nights in the state of Utah. They played Utah the previous night, lost 96-65, and last night in Provo lost 99-55. So that's consistent. Right? It's consistent. I mean,
Sure.
You don't want to...
Not consistently good, but consistent.
It's consistent, yeah. Tonight in the Big 12, Southern Illinois plays at Oklahoma State, Grand Canyon at Arizona State, and LSU and Kansas State play tonight. That should be a dandy matchup. That's probably the best matchup that we've had not of the week, because there was Kansas and Michigan State played earlier this week, but that should be fun. This game will be in Manhattan tonight, so that should be a fun atmosphere tonight there at Bramlage Coliseum. It's I don't know. It's kind of going to be interesting to see, who survives and who rises to the top, or if there is a surprise. Somebody else is allowed to play maybe better than expected in the Big 12. So, for me, probably too early to tell who that's going to be, because you just got so many good teams that are ranked. And I think you've got those ones that are just on the outside looking in, that include Texas Tech, that feels like, man, that could be a top 25 team pretty quick, or more or higher.
So much depth. It's not just those top 25 teams. There are other teams that are outside the top 25, right. The Red Raiders included, that I think a lot of teams in the conference would tell you are still really good teams too. So you got your big dogs that you got to get up for, but if you're going to try to take a night off with some of these other teams, I think you're going to be surprised, and you're going to take some L's you don't really feel like you should have.
Yeah, and that could cost you when it comes to standing in the conference and then potentially seeding for an NCAA tournament. If you don't become too careful.
Yeah, it's not just a battle of playing great teams, but it's a battle of you mentally being up each and every time you step on the court in this conference, because there's not a whole lot of taking a breath. Okay, we got this quote-unquote bye week because we play Oklahoma State or whatever. Right. There's just not a whole lot of those.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I don't always agree with Chuck's rant on the games in New Mexico, but the Littlefield game in Clovis really doesn't make sense. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well, what's the situation?
Well, I don't know what all the, quote, stadium availabilities are, but...
Well, then how can you be so certain it doesn't make sense?
Well, because I feel like in these situations...
He feels.
Yeah, I feel like...
He doesn't know, he just feels.
I feel like what you should do is because Littlefield's 6-4 and Freona's 2-8, you should play where the team has the better record, and the higher seed should be a home game, regardless, like it is in 6A.
I will actually agree with you on that point. So, I think they should drop that down to the lower classifications as well. It would solve some of these problems that these teams run into.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, just playing a home game.
And for those that say, well, it's not fair. It's not fair. The other team have to drive that far. Well, sorry about you. Win more games.
Yeah.
Hang on. Did he get it right?
I got it right.
It's 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row. But it's the same topic. So don't give me...
But he got it right.
Don't give me too much credit. Yeah. But technically, yes. But again, it morphed on what I did yesterday. I just kind of put a little more emphasis on on the whining.
Us getting things right 2 days in a row doesn't always happen either.
That's totally fair. It's totally fair.
Kind of happens that way. So it's just... Just the way it is.
I think that makes a whole lot more sense to be playing that first round in those home games, and then you're not running into this problem of trying to find these neutral site stadiums when you have so many first round games. Yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense to me.
It's just
now the situation of if they can't find it, but that's not the rule now. For that classification, if they can't find a stadium, I mean, they don't want to play on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I guess technically they could play, at noon on Friday, but was that good for the fans? No. Okay. So I guess they could. I mean, maybe they could find some stadiums on Saturday, and that's what they need to do. I don't know I don't know if that's what coaches don't want to do that, because now you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. You have one less day to prepare for your next opponent while they're sitting there watching you. Sometimes 2 less days. If they played on Thursday for your next opponent. Yeah. So you don't want them to be able to sit back and have that extra day plus get to sit there and scout you and focus on you and all the above. So I think there's reasons involved. I don't think they do it just to anger the local fans.
Right. Right.
Try to give a topic to the local radio station.
I will tell you this, though. I know for a fact that LISD was very happy that El Paso Bel Air agreed to play Monterey on a Thursday, and they were very surprised by that. But the reason is that it opened up tomorrow night for Lowry Field, which they're going to have Denver City and Dalhart. So they're able to use their stadium another night and make some extra money.
I wonder why El Paso agreed to that.
I don't know.
You would think you would want your student athletes traveling back on a Friday night, not on a Thursday night.
Don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make.
Maybe they looked at it and went, well, we'll throw them a bone. They're 0-10. I don't know. It seems in terms of getting out of school for a day, like, well, we'll reward them. It's been a long season.
Probably going to get out of school for 2 days.
Yeah, right. Well, they won't have school today because they're traveling to get here, and then they'll bus all night unless they go, okay, it's going to be at school tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Bet not.
Yeah. Bet not. So anyway, that did open it up. And then Cooper gets to host, Liberty gets to host, Friendship gets to host an extra game tonight. So, I mean, there's some money involved for the school districts. Look at them Canyon. They're playing a doubleheader there.
Yeah, I mean, that's not in question.
Yeah.
What is in question is why schools have to travel
to New Mexico.
Well, or whether it's New Mexico or not, if it's that far away. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. If you went east, well, where are they playing? The text just says New Mexico.
In Clovis.
Clovis, okay. So, and how far is Clovis?
I don't know. 2
hours?
Yeah.
If they went 2 hours east, would it bother you?
No.
It wouldn't bother you? I mean, it's the same difference.
It wouldn't bother me.
If the shallow water fans had to drive 2 hours east, that's okay. But if they drive 2 hours west, just across the border?
Yes, that bothers me.
Okay.
I mean, that
makes complete sense.
That bothers me. I mean,
okay.
Because, I mean, you've got this, quote, Friday Night Lights, great state of Texas. We got to use New Mexico because we don't want to go east. We want to go west. Anyway, I know that's not necessarily logical.
It's not where they want to go. It's where there's a good stadium available.
I understand that. That's my point. Is there's plenty of good ones in these here parts. We should be able to figure it out, right? Instead of going to Clovis.
So why aren't they doing it then?
I don't know.
Why aren't they going to the ones that are just as far away east that are just as good?
Lazy is what.
How is it lazy?
They didn't make extra phone calls and say, "Hey, is your stadium available? Hey, Bob, let's go over here. Hey, George, let's call Jeff in Boise or whatever, Boise, Texas."
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is November the 14th. It is Thursday. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Starting in 1957, Milwaukee Braves' Hank Aaron wins the National League MVP award. 1964, Detroit Red Wings' Gordie Howe sets an NHL record with his 627th career goal. 1973, Jim Palmer is named the AL Cy Young Award winner. 1986, This feels a little shady. It's not, but it feels that way. Doubleday Publishing sells the Mets to Nelson Doubleday and Fred Wilpon. So the company sold it to the guy.
Okay.
It's not.
Are you thinking they got a deal?
I'm feeling it feels a little shady. It's not, but it feels that way.
And then Fred Wilpon basically had to sell the Mets because he was invested in Bernie Madoff's stuff, and that was shady.
That was definitely shady.
Definitely.
Very shady. And
like that was shadier than what this feels.
Yeah, right.
1993, 43rd Winston Cup Series finishes with Dale Earnhardt winning.
Should have been the 43 car, right, Jamie?
Maybe so.
Well,
I don't remember what happened, but okay. Yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to take anything away from Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially in the 90s. He was a bit intimidating.
Was he your guy? Did you like him?
I liked Jeff Gordon, and I know that's a terrible thing to say, apparently, to NASCAR fans. I thought he was fun.
Because they don't think he's not like true NASCAR.
Yeah. I don't have any.
He had all of his teeth and had made it past the 8th grade, unlike Earnhardt.
Hair looked good. All that kind of stuff.
I didn't have a driver I didn't like until Tony Stewart.
Oh, you didn't like Tony Stewart. Okay.
He was either you're a Richard or you're something else. Well, he was something else.
Okay.
What about the Bush brothers, man? They were pretty dislikable.
Still,
I thought Dale Earnhardt was extremely dislikable. Yeah.
1998. Derek Doris has 2 touchdowns, and Rob Peters scores from 3 yards out with 25 seconds left as Texas Tech beats number 18 Texas 42-35.
Nice.
All right.
Always liked Derek Doris. He was, and Rob Peters too. I mean, he wasn't all flash, but he was just pretty good up and down the field.
4.0. That's what I think about when I think of Rob Peters.
Because of his GPA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's awesome.
And in 2015, Patrick Mahomes threw for 384 yards and 3 touchdowns, including 2 to Justin Stockton, and DeAndre Washington rushed for 3 more as Texas Tech beat Kansas State 59-44.
Wow.
I know.
Justin Stockton is like a forgotten Red Raider running back. He did a lot of good things.
He did a lot of good things for you. Mm-hmm. Happy National Tempranillo Day. It's a wine, so keep in mind I am not a wine drinker.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But it's made with grapes that are harvested early in their growing cycle. And again, these are not my thoughts. These are just what I have researched to answer this. They are perfectly... they are low in acidity, medium tannins, and savory flavor. It pairs well with a wide range of salads and entrees. No idea. Not a wine drinker. But I thought I would try to find something for the wine drinkers who were looking, well, what does it taste like? I have no idea.
No clue. Yeah.
Happy birthday to King Charles III is 75 today. Yanni is 70. Yanni. Long black hair, mustache. Mm-hmm. Francisco Lindor, 31. Devontae Smith, 26. Josh Duhamel, 52. Patrick Washburn, 60. Kurt Schilling, 58. And Fred Hayes is 90. Fred Hayes is 90. As in Apollo 13's Fred Hayes.
Fred Hayes, H-A-I-S-E.
Correct. Hang on, wait.
Thank you.
H-A-I-S-E.
Yeah.
Hayes.
Hayes,
yeah.
yes.
That's an interesting way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
And on this day, 1851, Moby Dick is published. Now considered a great American classic, a piece of literature, with one of the most famous opening lines in fiction. Call me Ishmael. The book about Captain Ahab and his quest to catch a giant white whale. And that's the second time that book has been brought up this week, I think. Or was that last week that it was
I don't know, it's
Wes Kitley's birthday? Maybe it was last week.
Certainly very recent, yeah.
Very recent. Anyhow, that is this day in sports history.
Doo-doo. All right, time for your lucky local winning word. You can go to doublet973.com right now. Get entered in to win from Double T 97.3 in the home zone, making your house a home. We're giving away money every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Today is Thursday. Yesterday we gave away money to Darren Kuntz. He got $250, and you could get it today or tomorrow, but you got to play to win. So just go to doublet973.com and enter in this word, bunker. Bunker. If you're playing golf, you do not want to be in the bunker. I've heard the guys talk about how they've changed things over at the Rawls course to make it easier for you to get out of the bunker. Apparently, some of my fellow older guys, when they got into the bunker, it was a bit of a struggle to get out of the bunker.
That's unfortunate.
Isn't some of that going to go away with them hosting the NCAA regionals here in the next couple of years?
I don't know of how that all.
I vaguely remember Lubbock golfers being very upset at the Rawls for about 2 years as they were getting it ready to host the regionals. Because it got so much tougher.
Yeah, right.
All the easy holes were basically no longer easy, and then all the hard holes got harder. With the conversation. I'm not a golfer, so I don't think I've ever been past the tee box at the Rawls course. But I think I remember the golfers in town when that was getting ready, going, "Okay, don't play the Rawls course because it'll kill you."
Bunker, B-U-N-K-E-R. We'll have another local winning word this morning at 8:45. Okay. Brandon says this, Jeff. Some of the best Tempranillo in the world is grown right here in West Texas in Terry County.
There's a lot of great wine grown around here.
Cool.
It's not distilled. I guess it's fermented wine. There we go.
Yeah, the vines are grown here.
Yeah, and the wineries are all around here. It's a great place to do it. It's just not my beverage of choice.
Some might say it's more conducive to growing grapes than cotton, but that might be a little controversial. Let's see. Grew up in Bristol. Always interesting when you guys mention NASCAR. Love the show. Been listening since 2010. Well, thank you. Appreciate that very much.
Bet he has a different appreciation level living and growing up in Bristol.
Oh,
for
yeah.
NASCAR.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There was a time in my life where I thoroughly enjoyed it. Was a big fan.
Would you move to Bristol?
Probably not.
You could have been
baseball doesn't play many games there.
You could have been a NASCAR commentator.
I don't think
Talking about the Jamie Lent in the infield.
I can't hear Jamie saying boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. That just doesn't fit.
Jamie would
kind of his thing. I don't really copy others.
Jamie would be very sensible down in the infield. He'd have good reports, concise, accurate reports.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We'll have lots of high school football on the air for you tonight. 3 different games. Idlewild and Tulia on Sunday 97.7. That's at 5. Kick at 5:30. Monterey and El Paso Bel Air at 5:30 from Lowry Field on 93.7 The Eagle. Kick at 6 o'clock tonight. And then Lubbock Cooper at El Paso Cantonillo at 6:30. And then 7 o'clock play-by-play from El Paso. Okay. Plus, we've got the NFL on tonight with Philadelphia and the Washington Commanders. 6:30 the broadcast time, 7 o'clock play-by-play from the city of brotherly love.
Cantonillo?
Can you teo? Can't you see it? Can you?
We're just moving N's and U's and T's.
Can you teo? Can you teo? Right, Jeff? Is that it? Can you teo?
I think I believe that to be correct. You just said Cantonillo.
Can you teo? Yeah.
Cantonillo.
Oh, Cantonillo. Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video about a realtor trying to sell a house out there, and that's how I got it right. That's it. And I said it right for my sports center, and I was happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you've been saying it right. I think you just chose a different word.
Oh, it just kind of just slipped out wrong there.
Sound a little bit like Captain Antonil or something.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Love will keep us together. 7:16 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We have 4 teams that are idle this week in the Big 12, including the Texas Tech Red Raiders, TCU, and Oklahoma State. Texas Tech's next opponent is also getting a bye week this week. And then the 4th team is University of Central Florida, also known as UCF. So here's where the conference is right now. It's 6-0, and for BYU, Colorado's 5-1, Iowa State 4-2, K-State 4-2, Arizona State 4-2, West Virginia at 4-2. So who would you like to see, and who do you think will be in the Big 12 championship game in a couple of weeks? And it may be different answers.
I think we will see Colorado and BYU.
Okay.
Why is that I mean, they're top.
Yeah, BYU finishes with Kansas this week, and that will be at home. Then they're at Arizona State, and then they finish at home with Houston. So those seem to be all 3 very winnable games for them, right?
Okay.
Colorado, they will finish with Utah, at Kansas, and at home against Oklahoma State. So Kansas has a chance to be spoilers with both BYU and Colorado, and they have to win those games in order to, remain bowl eligible. They're 3-6. I do not think they're going to go to a bowl. I think they're going to probably lose both of those games, and then they play at Baylor to finish up on November the 30th. So they might lose out when it's all said and done.
Teams that are in the mix, I would probably want BYU and Kansas State.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me. K-State, they have 2 games at home, and 2 of these are very winnable, Arizona State and Cincinnati, and then they play at Iowa State. And who knows, that game may still be for the right to go to the Big 12 championship game. Both those teams are going to need some help.
Sure.
And Iowa State, they finish up with Cincinnati, Utah, and then at home against Kansas State. And then there's West Virginia. I don't think they have. I don't know what all the tiebreakers are here. I'm just going to tell you the teams that are 4-2. But West Virginia, as far as the Mountaineers are concerned, they play at Cincinnati. Oh, they played this past week at Cincinnati. Never mind, they won that game. They have Baylor at home, UCF at home, and then here in Lubbock against the Red Raiders on November 30th. So I kind of feel like. And it'll be interesting to see how those 2 home games play for them, because that might determine the fate of Neil Brown. As strange as that sounds.
Yeah, you are really trying to get this guy knocked off, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm just pointing out. I'm just pointing out that, I mean, right now of the Big 12 coaches, the 2 guys that are on the quote hot seat. And I don't know how hot the seat is for Oklahoma State for Mike Gundy, given all that he's done there, unless he's ready to say see you later. Yeah, I think that Neil Brown's the one guy that could get canned. Maybe Dave Aranda too. Who's more likely, Dave Aranda or Neil Brown?
I think I would go Aranda, but I think both of them are definitely in contention, I guess.
Yeah, if they have a seat warmer on their office chair just to kind of make them comfortable, they don't need to turn it on.
Okay.
Because it's on. I think Neil Brown is the one more likely, because I don't necessarily think, and I don't know this, I'd be curious for the Baylor fans that are here in Lubbock. Are you rooting for him to fail so you can go get somebody else? And who is that somebody else? I think West Virginia looks at this and go, we really want Neil Brown to fail so we can go hire one of our own, whether it's go back to Rich Rod or Jimbo Fisher. Because I think they look at it, probably some in the mountains there look at it as we've got 2 really viable candidates that we feel like they're one of ours. You know, they're born of the hills. You know, so to speak.
Are we certain that they want that job?
I mean, I haven't reached out to Jimbo lately to see what his indicator is, but I think the indicator is that he would want that job. I don't know about Rich Rod, okay. but I think that Jimbo Fisher would be probably he'd be the guy that they go, yep, everybody's going to sign off on that. You know, just kind of like everybody signed off on Cliff here. And I'm not saying it's going to have the same result, but, you know, they're going to look at the success he had at Florida State. He didn't have success at LSU, or excuse me, at Texas A&M. But they're going to say, well, you know, he had won that national championship there at Florida State. He can bring us one of those, man. That'd be awesome. We can just get close. Feel like we can have it. I think if you were to go to Morgantown and the busiest intersection that they've got right out there in front of the Coliseum or Pilar Millar Stadium, I think is the name of this football stadium, something along those lines. Stop 1,000 cars. Who do you feel more confident in leading you to a national championship? Neil Brown or Jimbo Fisher? I think it's Jimbo Fisher, 90 to 10%.
I would probably go even higher than that. I mean, he's done it before.
So yeah. I was just trying to. Somebody says it's going to take some BMDs to buy out Neil Brown's contract. Yeah, well, one guy's already offered to do that if they hire Rich Rod. So I don't hate Neil Brown. I'm just telling you what I think, Syntex Hank. So that's just what I'm telling you what I think. I'm just thinking that they really, I don't think, want him to be successful there. They want somebody else. And I'm not saying that about Dave Aranda at Baylor, who knows, maybe he can get it turned around, because if Baylor wins their last 3, it's hard to fire a coach that won 8 games, right?
Sure.
And here's the thing. Does their 8, like, let's just say Tech wins out and they're 8-4, and Baylor wins out and they're 8-4. If you're looking at it, does the Baylor 8-4 look better than our 8-4?
Yes, because one of their ones was over you.
Yeah. I don't want to poo-poo the 8-4 because it's not like you've got a tree full of them in your history. It just feels different. It just feels different. So I'm sorry if that doesn't meet with everybody's agreement, but it just feels a little bit different when you consider kind of what you thought you were going to be able to do, or at least get close to doing, and you're just not going to be able to do that this year.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, we have now seen the entire roster for the Red Raider men's basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all enjoyed what we've seen. I think there are a lot of really impressive pieces.
Yes.
Fun to watch. All the above. My question today for you guys is not who's the best player or the most important player.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think there's a lot of really fun guys to watch here.
Yeah.
I want to know who your favorite player is. Who's the favorite one? And also, if you want to throw in, who do you think the fan base as a whole is going to gravitate towards the most?
Oh, that's a probably even better question. Well, my eyes go to Federico. I mean, for so many different reasons. I mean, first of all, his name, Federico, and even Hacks on the postgame show last night, he was talking about with Federico. He's like, I'm trying to have some longevity to it, like a soccer, like goal, because I don't even know if he played soccer, but he's thinking about the Telemundo guy, Andres Cantor, goal. He goes for like 6 minutes. You can't do that with Federico.
But you also can't do that with a basketball game because
there's stuff going on,
action going on.
Yes. So Federico. I think the fan favorite is going to be JT Toppin. I mean, those are 2 pretty low-hanging fruit kind of guys. So that's what I'll go with. Federico for me, and then I think JT Toppin for the fan base in general.
I disagree. I think both those guys can get the high-hanging fruit.
Yes, okay.
Their size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really, any fruit they wanted to go after, I think they could jump up and get it. Yeah, that's probably fair. I'm going to go with Williams. It's the returner aspect, what he did for you last year, going forward, and guys that stick around. There's an appealing aspect of that for the fan base, for me and the fan base. I do think as the season progresses, JT Toppin will be grouped into the fan favorite. I hope right now it's just Darion Williams for the fan base, that because he, what he did last year, continuing this year, still being the guy that he is.
So when you say he's a guy that sticks around, you mean with us, right?
Well, yeah,
because he left somewhere.
Because he left somewhere else, but
right.
He was here last year. He is a returner for us.
I loved your ex-wife, girlfriend, future wife, then future potentially ex-wife, because she's cheating on you if she cheated on the previous guy, and then same thing could go for the fellas as well. If he cheated on his wife to be with you, and now you're with him, chances are he's going to cheat on you to be with someone else.
What was I comparing that to? I can't remember.
The transfer portal.
Transfer portal guys. Don't be
the Oklahoma quarterback.
Yeah,
who left one place and
you can't feel like he's
loyal.
Done you wrong by leaving your school to go somewhere else when he left another school to come to you. Yes. Okay, I do remember that now, and that is pretty much how I feel.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah. Okay. I think Darion Williams will be the fan favorite because he's returning. People know what he did last year. People really fell in love with him, and I think that he'll always. I think he'll be the guy that is the fan favorite. For me, it didn't take long. Elijah Hawkins. Not only is he a terrific distributor, and he's not a guy that's always looking for his own shot, but there's a flair to his game that's really fun.
Okay.
That I think will our fan base will really enjoy too. I think he's going to get crowds excited and moments where, like last night, he could have just turned and made a nice bounce back pass to the big comma for a dunk, but instead he goes behind his back and all that, and I thought it was phenomenal. It was terrific. I like that style to his game. He's quick on the defensive end, forced a turnover last night. I don't know. Again, he's not a guy that's always looking to score, and so I hope he, last year he was second in the country. I hope he leads the country in assists this year. He's a fun player. He's going to make everybody around him better. Yeah,
and that's what you want out of your point guard. My friend Bill says Chance McMillan or Elijah Hawkins. We get this.
Wait, Bill or Bill?
No, that's a different Bill.
Different Bill, okay.
Yeah,
because if that Bill was telling us he could be in trouble.
No,
we don't want
I
that
really
to
like the way that Chance is playing right now. He's really played well the first 3 games.
I think I'm going to love watching Christian Anderson progress. He looks very impressive for a freshman. Okay.
Completely agree. Just looks like a great athlete.
Yeah.
One of those guys that looks like he could go play corner for Coach McGuire, center field for Coach Tadlock.
He can certainly, dribble the basketball too. Hard not to gravitate towards Toppin. He's just different than anyone we've had. You're laughing at my dribbling the basketball?
He can also dribble the basketball.
Well, very well.
If Coach McCaslin recruits anybody who can't, I'm going to start questioning
No, I know, but
Coach
his
McCaslin.
ball handling was I just am impressed by his ball handling and the speed with which he goes through the lane. Okay. So yeah, he can dribble the basketball. Good job, Coach. D5 is this fan's favorite. Okay.
Yeah, I think our fan base, for the most part, I would guess he would be the one.
Man, isn't it nice to have options?
Agreed, totally.
Yeah,
agreed. And Christian Anderson really jumped off the screen at me last night. I thought Kevin Overton. I've liked what he's done so far. He kind of lets the
really
game come to him. He's not a volume shooter, which I appreciate. Federico does what he's supposed to do. Doesn't try to do too much. Go grab rebounds, try to affect shots, and run the floor, which speaks to his effort.
From Helsinki, I wonder if he wanted to be an ice skater or a hockey player growing up, and then went, I just keep growing, Mom. Why? You know, he would have been a pretty tall hockey player.
He would have.
High sticking would have never meant more if he had been a hockey player.
Yeah, well.
And maybe he is. I still wish they'd list him at 7.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, and Chuck Heinz. Feel like this song's got a message that Mr. McGuire is trying to send to all of us. Don't worry, be happy.
How about just be happy?
Be happy.
Basketball won.
Yeah.
I get football not where we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And as accurate as everybody has been on the chat line, you know, we're one play away from 7-5, you know, from 8-4 now. I mean, we're 3 plays away from being 3-7. I totally get all of that. Like we're mad for a reason. Basketball won last night.
You choosing joy?
Today, I mean, yeah, we were ticked off Monday and Tuesday. It's Thursday.
Okay.
Basketball won last night.
I know. We
sure, they played a team that doesn't have a pulse. Totally get it. Basketball won. Mm-hmm. It's Thursday. Quit being mad.
Okay. Well, I'm not mad.
You're not the one playing them. I'm playing the song for it. Be happy.
We come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio. Nate's Flooring Center chat line is open.
Sorry for speaking truths. My bad.
Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. It was funny when the game ended last night. I was watching the handshake line, and I always like to watch that because sometimes you never know when you're going to see something kind of interesting. And my wife's like, "What are you looking at down there?" I said, "Oh, you see this guy right here? He's our assistant coach. He used to be their head coach. I just want to see how the reaction is." I said, and as a matter of fact, that's why we're playing this game, is because he left there to come here, and we're paying them to come here. So we're paying them. I go, yeah, we pay a lot of these teams to come in here this time of year, but we're paying them specifically and playing them because he left here to come here because Coach McCasson wanted him to be here. They used to work together, blah, 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 blah. So, and it was a very congenial, friendly handshake line last night. There was no news to write about the handshake line last night.
Nope.
Okay. Yes, it's just.
He seemed excited to see Coach McCaslin, and
then somebody
it was like this collision of ketchup and mustard coming at each other.
Yeah. Yes.
The red shirts on one side and the mustard yellow ones on the other side.
That brown and yellow is ugly.
It just looked like a hot dog exploded right there in front of us.
Okay. No hot dogs for me last night. But okay. I see what you're saying. Red Raiders did win last night over Wyoming, 96-49. Next up for them will be Arkansas Pine Bluffs. Okay, that'll be. I think they're like I gotta double check this name. I think they're like the Golden Lions or something like that. They have some kind of weird name. And that will be on Monday night. Tip time is 7 o'clock, so our coverage at 6 o'clock on Monday. Next basketball action will be for the Lady Raiders on Saturday night. They'll take on Washington State, coached by the former Monterey player and University of Texas national champion and gold medalist, Kami Etheridge. So I'm sure that there'll be folks that'll be excited to see her back in town, and her team will come in. I think they've got a little more than a pulse, so can't take anything for granted right now. Yeah, the Golden Lions is the name of their team. Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Golden Lions. That seems odd. But, I mean, why not just the Lions? Golden Lions. They're extra bright.
I don't know. Man.
Okay. Anyway, so that's the deal. Let's see. Washed up guy weighed in a little bit earlier, Jamie.
Couldn't we technically say, why don't we just be the Raiders?
Yeah.
Are we extra red?
Well, it'd be like
it's just like a name.
It would be like
couldn't Duke just be the Devils and not the Blue Devils?
Well, it's like it'd be like if it was the Rosy Red Raiders, okay? It's the extra adjective of golden that has me befuddled a little bit. Okay?
They're probably the Golden Lions because there are the Nittany Lions out there. And we're the Red Raiders because there are the formerly Oakland Raiders.
But there are other Red Raiders. There are other Blue Raiders.
Yeah, there's Blue Raiders, yeah. I don't know if there's any Golden Raiders. I applaud Wyoming for getting creative to get themselves a better non-conference slate. Yeah, well, give up their head coach to get a ball game. Okay, woohoo! And
basically they just accepted that you didn't have to pay the buyout or whatever, and made it easier to guarantee that they were going to get this game. And again, I believe that there's a return trip for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, we're going. I think we're going there.
Which would be great. Would obviously be very good for them.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, that'd good to go to Laramie. I'm sure there's some folks that have never been to Laramie before. You ever been to Laramie?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah. Better home matchup in non-conference play than most teams get.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you'll have that, and then they're off to Brooklyn and the Barclays Center next Thursday and Friday. So a week from tonight, they'll be in Brooklyn to take on St. Joseph's, and then they'll play either Syracuse or Texas, depending on how things go on Thursday, for all those teams. Okay, so that should be fun. Then on Friday, the 22nd. All right. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, of the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Double last night for JT Toppin in 23 minutes of work, Jamie. 24 points and 12 rebounds. I mean, it's one thing to have a double-double. It's another thing to do it in 22 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, I think he had like 14 and 8 in the first half, so he was right there. Mm-hmm. If he had a couple more minutes, he probably could have pulled it off.
16 and 8 in the first half.
Okay.
Yeah, but still very impressive, right? And here's the other thing that he did is that he drew 6 fouls and only committed 2. Had 2 steals in the ball game, and his plus minus was 1 shy of what the team high was. His plus minus was 38. Team high was Kevin Overton. His was 39, and he played 2 less seconds than JT Toppin. Okay, so Chance McMillan's plus minus was 34, and Devin Cambridge was 31. I'm really happy that Devin Cambridge is off to a good start. I mean, it doesn't look like he has any effects, from his knee injury, and
for him and for us.
Yeah. I mean, 10 points, 3 rebounds last night. He looks pretty quick. Doesn't look like he has any hesitation with it. So it's drive to the buckets and all those kinds of things.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.